This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Right now on 1480 KRAE, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 KRAE. Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. We're going to go right to the phones right away because we know he's in the middle of something right now, and I don't know, maybe we can hopefully bring him back later on. If that be the case, we're going to talk with Cody Tucker once again, founder of 7220sports.com. Cody, the last time we talked about you, there was some optimism with the Wyoming Cowboys, but then we got the news about Graham. Graham saying, no, I'm done, stick a fork in me. The Cowboys have shut down Noah Reynolds. The effort, I guess, at San Jose State pretty much was indicative of that this Cowboys team is pretty much shut down. Not taking anything away from the play of Hunter Maldonado, but other than that, boy, this season really has just been a nightmare.
Oh, has it ever? And from some indications I'm getting, it could be worse. But I got to keep that close to the vest right now. But, yeah, Graham shutting it down, I guess not a lot of people were completely shocked by that. I think some thought, he could come back. He's probably not going to exhaust his eligibility in college anyway, so why not come back, even if it's just for a handful of games and maybe make a run in the Mountain West tournament? That's not going to happen. He's definitely looking out for his future. Linder mentioned numerous times that the ball was in his court, and it was his decision whether to come back or not, and EK made that decision, and, of course, you can read between the lines, on his comments that he put out publicly that, I'm going to come back to the game better than ever and things like that, not come back to the Cowboys better than ever. So I know a lot of people are flipping out about that. And then, Noah Reynolds, 3 concussions in 6 months. That's too much. And Jeff Linder said yesterday, you can fix a lot of things in the human body, but the brain is one that still is a tricky one. So they decided to shut him down, which was probably the smart move. But things not going well. A year after everything went right, everything has seemed to go wrong so far, and a real dud at San Jose State on Saturday night. They haven't played that bad in a long, long time, and one thing you can say about this team throughout the year, fellas, is that they haven't really given up. That was rough.
Cody, as you alluded to, and that was something I was going to ask you again regarding the comments that Graham Ike put out on social media on his Twitter account as well, too, in that graphic that, again, it was talking about the game, not so much the Cowboys. And, again, in this day and age, as we see in collegiate sports of at transfer portal, it is welcoming to everyone and all out there. And, again, it brings new opportunities for folks who want to get out of, a situation that they might find themselves in. In Graham Ike's situation, who is beloved right here in the Cowboy State, especially there in Laramie, Wyoming, but is it a legitimate concern that Graham Ike could next season just say, hey, transferring out, it was fun, peace, I'm done with the Wyoming Cowboys?
I mean, yeah, I suppose it's definitely possible. You never know these days. And, Craig Bohl talked about it last week. He kind of opened it up that, hey, Logan Wilson and Chad Muma and those kind of guys, they were getting offers left and right, but they were never going to leave. They were Wyoming Cowboys. And I pressed him on it later in the conversation saying, so are you telling me that, teams are reaching out and people are reaching out? And he didn't want to get on the soapbox too much, but he said, those calls are for real. Those calls that are coming in anonymously, they're for real, and they're on behalf of other schools and stuff. And I asked him about blowing the whistle and all that, and he just kind of laughed and said, "Man, I can't get on this soapbox right now." But I could imagine Graham Ike would be definitely a sought after kind of guy. And then on the flip side, guys, if this team can come back pretty much intact next year, they could be scary. Plus, have that chip on their shoulder. So it's interesting, and I guess this day and age, you never know. But he's one of the most dominant big men in the college game. So, I'd imagine he's going to be very sought after. But also, Jeff Linder stuck with him. I mean, Graham Ike was going to go to northern Colorado. So, Jeff Linder stuck with him through a torn ACL, and, you would like to think that he would stick with Linder. And I know he loves the University of Wyoming, and I know he's loved his time here, but you never know. Money talks, right? And I don't know what moves Graham. Graham his uncle, of course, is Daniel Graham, former tight end in the NFL. So, he's got a guy to really, lean on and get some good info from, and you just never know.
Cody, if you're Coach Linder right now on the Wyoming Cowboys, where, again, you have this two heartbreaking, at least stories coming out this past week where pretty much any chance of postseason play is kind of dashed at this point in time. Again, we'll see if this Cowboys team can find a way to rally around with the pieces that they have. But if you're Coach Linder and company right now for the Cowboys with the remaining regular season games, again, focusing on that Mountain West tournament, what do you kind of focus on the positives? I mean, how do you turn this thing around, or at least kind of shift it into a positive outlook with all the negatives so far?
Well, he kind of talked about it yesterday, guys. He just really wants guys who want to be here and guys who want to play and guys who want to put in that effort. He mentioned there's a lot of like-it guys, love-it guys, and live-it guys. And he said Noah Reynolds is a live-it and love-it guy, and there's a lot of like-it guys that he's coached in his career, not pointing to anybody specific. But I think right now, unfortunately, I know fans aren't going to want to hear this, but it's now I believe the focus has shifted to getting better each and every game and finding out who really wants to be there and who really wants to put in the max effort. And times are tough, and who wants to step up? So it might be, this might be moral victory time, fellas. And I know nobody wants to hear that. I don't even want to hear that. Nobody wants to cover that kind of stuff. But I think it really is it. It's winning possessions, winning halves, winning first 10 minutes, stuff like that. I think it's kind of boiled down to that, and getting ready to see who's going to be on this roster next year and see if there's any way this team can play spoiler a little bit.
Cody, I know, again, time is tight with us here and with you, so let's, and on my behalf, I'm going to stick a fork in the Cowboys. They're done. So let's circle our wagons towards the Wyoming Cowgirls. Again, that has been a glimmer of hope throughout the course of the season. It's been up, down, and again, they're the ones we got to kind of hang our hats on in that Mo West tournament. How far can this team go?
Yeah, I mean, they're that pesky team that just doesn't go away, and the scary part about this team is they went on the road, and they've been doing it without their head coach, Heather Rizell, who's been out, due to the birth of her baby. So, under Coach Larson, they're still just kind of rolling along, and I think guys, like they are most years in Vegas, they're really not a team anybody wants to see or anybody wants to mess with. I mean, it took a last-second three-pointer from Colorado State the other day to win inside Moby Arena, and that's a tough place to play. And the Cowgirls have not had a very good time down there of late, but man, they had that one in their grasp. So also something the Cowgirls haven't had in a minute is Allison Ferdig, a big down low who's really getting better and better every day, and she's a lot of fun to watch. So I think they're scrappy, and yeah, they're a thorn in the side of a lot of teams that think they're going to make a run, and they don't want to see the Wyoming Cowgirls in Sin City.
All right, Cody, we're going to wrap it up with you again, let you get to what you need to do. Maybe we can get you possibly back here before shows end if it's something that is airable. Definitely would like to know what's going on, because it sounds like, and again, once you confirm everything, sounds like the news is pretty big.
Yep, absolutely, guys. I'd be happy to come on and talk about it.
All right, Cody Tucker, founder of 7220sports.com here on 1480 K-Ray. Nick, let's keep it right here for a little bit and thank Cody. Matter of fact, just as you called him, he was getting something that was coming across that was breaking. And again,
we'll keep an eye out of what comes across his way, again, whether it's on the social media side or again his website, of seeing what it can be. And again, the speculation right now, again, of what could be potentially breaking news out of Cowboy basketball is someone else, a big star, now shut down again. Could it be, a Maldonado that has been hurt again? Could he be all of a sudden shut down for the remainder of the season? As they are kind of, again, I guess plain and simple, cashing it in, where right now there's no hope or prayer that this team is going to the NCAA tournament, to an NIT, anything like that. It's pretty much of, this season's a wash, and you got to focus up on next year to figure out, as Cody kind of alluded to, of who's buying into the system, who wants to return, who wants to be a Wyoming Cowboy for the potential powerhouse team that they could be coming up next year. So, again, obviously it's a frustrating situation for Coach Linder right now. Have reached out to the UW athletic department to talk with Coach Linder about this season, get his thoughts, and, again, the future moving forward. Hopefully we will talk to him in the next couple of weeks here on the Pro Show. But, again, what can you do if you're the Cowboys right now? Where obviously moving above them to the athletic department again with AD out there, Tom Berman. Obviously, again, Jeff Linder is not on the hot seat because of this season. Again, this is an anomaly year with all the injuries. So, again, this is not an indication of what Jeff Linder brings to the table for the Wyoming Cowboys. But it is concerning. I wouldn't doubt for that athletic department where it's a wash. We talk about how many home games are still remaining there at the AA for the Wyoming Cowboys. Who's showing up to these games now with this season as bad as it is and now getting even worse with more news coming out that players are now just being shut down or redshirted for the remainder of the season. Again, obviously that athletic department concerns themselves with money, with revenue, with, again, getting butts and seats. That AA, you got to imagine for the remaining couple contests, which, again, they'll have one tonight against UNLV, who's going to show up? Who's going to fill these seats at the AA for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. And again, too, optimism here a couple weeks ago, especially with the win against Fresno State. I know I was
that was not an impressive win.
I was sitting in that chair across the way going, hey, possibility. They can get a win at San I was looking down that list if the news would have been better. And again, too, young men are going to react to these situations. It's like that extra adrenaline pump. Unfortunately, with Graham basically making that announcement before the San Jose State game that he's not going to come back. And I think also, too, it's a smart move on his behalf. Because, again, I don't know what the rules are anymore. I think it was like less than 25% of your games. Yeah. I think he would have fallen under that category by coming back. But the point is, with the Cowboys, it was like, I'm not going to blow a whole season of eligibility.
Yeah.
And
it made sense for EK to make that move without a doubt, give him that extra year. Now it's the question, because, again, we were talking how many times with EK with the situation of will he return? Again, it was not a question of if, it was more so of will he return with this injury?
And will he return to the Cowboys?
Yeah, well, and again, we'll get into that, but it was more so of for this season, can he be back in time for this Cowboy team to make a run, especially as we get closer to that Mountain West Conference tournament? Well, now, again, those dreams, those hopes are gone completely with that announcement. But, yes, as, again, had a chance to ask Cody that question where, again, if you want to read off the wording that Graham Ike posted on a social media site, again, on the Twitter side, again, will he return as a Wyoming Cowboy? Again, he's a guy that is beloved here in the Cowboy State. He is kind of the face of that team. Outside of 100 Maldonado, it's 1A, 1B. Graham Ike, I would say, is that superstar. At least he's the well-known commodity, I would think, here in the Cowboy State. It does bring up a concern with that transfer portal of, does he kind of dip a toe in it and kind of feel around of, okay, well, maybe a Power 5 would take a look at me of my body of work that I did last season. Not so much this year with again, the injury, but, again, last season. Who would be interested? That is kind of the concern with this transfer portal of, will he take a look? And my gut indication says he might. I don't know if he returns as a Wyoming Cowboy. It is that concern where, again, especially with the NIL, with the chance of making money, with, again, the chance of going to a contender of an NCAA tournament team, you got to imagine that the guy's going to go, what's best for me? What's best for my career? Is it Wyoming? Is it with the Cowboys? Or if it's with someone else? And that right now, I think for Cowboy fans, you got to mightily worry that you might not see Graham Ike in the brown and gold next season.
Well, and also, too, and I hate to throw the negative Nelly portion of the program for Graham, he's damaged goods. I mean, you're coming off an injury. Most times you're not 100% once you come off an injury. So has his stock fallen, as you mentioned, Power 5s? I don't know. Again, don't know what the internal situation is in Laramie right now. And again, with Jeff Linder, correct me if I'm wrong, next season will be entering his third or fourth season. He's
fourth, fifth, somewhere in there.
He's bringing his kids in now. Again, the Allen Edwards era officially is going to end here very shortly, I think, with the Thompsons and the Maldonados
yeah.
going bye-bye. pretty soon this is going to be Jeff Linder's group that he's recruited. So, for Cowboy fans, and you said it many, many times, they're fickle. They'll jump on the boat when it's flowing freely in the waters, but they're the first to bail when things are going bad.
Yeah.
So, do you expect 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 tonight at the AA?
On a Wednesday night? No.
Even with the roads being in great shape here from Cheyenne to Laramie?
Well, again, we're expecting snow as well, too, here tonight.
I understand,
but either way, though, even if road conditions were perfect and pristine, again, temperature was nice, again, will that thing hit 1,000 fans? Possibly. But, again, outside of that, it's going to be a low attendance for the remainder of the home contest that, again, what hope, what confidence do you have within this team now to pick up any more conference victories and again, get wins in front of you there at the AA? It's again, we looked at that schedule. It's not possible. Where you said, hey, they got a chance of going above 500 here in the remaining 9 games.
Yep.
Now I feel even more confident. Even before all this announcement, I said, no, they got a legit shot of going about 1-8. And right now, I think
0-9.
Yeah, and I think that could, or at least, now it'd be 0-8 after, again, the loss was at San Jose. But, again, are they defeating UNLV tonight? Again, they got the road contest against Boise, at New Mexico. I do believe at San Diego State. Sorry, it is not happening right now. And again, don't blame Cowboy fans. You're not going to spend money on a team that is not doing anything this season and, again, can't do anything just with the lack of bodies out there. It's it is what it is, but, for the athletic department, obviously it's a concern for them there at University of Wyoming. But does this all of a sudden put Jeff Linder in the hot seat there with Tom Berman and staff? No, I don't think so. No. I think that would be absolutely ridiculous after, again, looking at his body of work the past couple seasons. This was just a complete anomaly year with all sorts of injuries that are, again, outside of Coach Linder's, again, what he can control.
Yeah, and again, too, in his situation as a head coach, what do? Well, you go to the next man up. Well, pretty soon you're running out of bodies now.
Yeah.
And again, the smart thing, and this is where Cowboy fans need to come to grips with this. The smart thing is, first off, let's go back to Graham Ike. That's a smart thing. Let's get him back next season if he comes back. Let's get him back for a full season. All right. Shutting down Noah Reynolds, who has been the up and comer for this Wyoming Cowboy squad, probably makes more sense. Again. 3 concussions. Let's not take your chances. All right. Hunter Maldonado trying to finish out what has been, I think he's been there 6 years. So trying to finish out on a positive note for the Wyoming Cowboys. Hunter Thompson, has been kind of erratic, but again, maybe this is a opportunity for him to shine a little bit, and then again see some of the future of the Wyoming Cowboys on the floor. But yeah. You look at UNLV. Do they get boat race tonight? Gosh, I hope not, but it's not looking. It's not looking too good.
Again, UNLV's a lot impressive team, or at least they've really stepped their game up compared to seasons past, where again they were kind of one of the doormats here in the Mountain West Conference after again being one of the pristine teams. Again 90s, early 2000s. UNLV's kind of getting back in that prestigiousness. Will Wyoming Cowboys win at home against UNLV tonight? No. Again, how much UNLV wins by tonight? Again, I figure it'd be about simple enough double-digit figures. Again, whether it's 10 points, 15, I think it's going to be a fairly comfortable win. And again, expect that for the remainder of this season, where again, what's the confidence? What are the hope level for, again, these players with the Wyoming Cowboys of, again, what are you fighting for out there? What are you playing for? It's something that there's not much you can reach for outside of, again, try and obtain, again, that Mountain West Conference championship. But, again, that's an improbable task right now.
Yeah, and Cody made a very good point. Even though the Cowboys were hurting, even when Maldonado was out and Thompson was out, I mean, basically he was running a JV team, okay? And they weren't getting blown out. They were at least competitive. Now you have your one big star back again, and I got to be real honest with Hunter Thompson. His career has been erratic at best over at the University of Wyoming, but it's still kind of like you got varsity and junior varsity mixed in together. So it's not going to flow And,
it's essentially what we saw for the past couple seasons.
And
with
the CSU game at Moby, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But again, like I said, right now I think that there's a potential of a 1 win on that remaining regular season schedule for the Wyoming Cowboys. But outside of that, again, they go through just the complete gauntlet of teams, especially all those road contests against Boise, against New Mexico. Sorry, you're just not winning those games. But again, to compare UW with the situation right now, again, look to the seasons of past with LCCC as we had Coach Salisbury in, and again, he's been through those wars. Again, when you lose some of those big talented guys, again, look last year with Arion Lewis, this team becomes a whole, the DNA becomes a whole different dynamic. And again, you're trying to find this team ways to gel together, and sometimes it just doesn't mix well. It doesn't get to that gelling spot as when you were fully healthy and you had every 5 starters out there. I think that's what you're kind of seeing right now with the Cowboys. Again, with the amount of pieces that have been lost, they're just kind of hoping for something to stick, or again that chemistry to be there, and it's just not there right now.
Well, and you made a very good point with Arian Lewis last year going down with the knee injury right before Thanksgiving, as I recall, and then again to the family tragedy. But again, Max Reyes, who was a 6 coming off the bench, and again, he was going to step in when Lewis went down, for a rest on the bench. And again, you could see for it took probably about 7-8 games before that all gelled together. So again, here's Jeff Linder throwing it on the other side. He's got a different lineup on the floor almost every night. So again, the continuity between the 5 on the floor, and again, you just can't throw out 5 guys and say jump, shoot, block, rebound, that type of deal. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think the Cowboys have shown that they just can't be fluid because it's a different starting lineup. We always kid about pitchers in Major League Baseball. How many pitchers have been called up by the Rockies, starting pitchers? Same thing too with the Cowboys. How many different starting lineups has Jeff Linder had? Nothing's been consistent this season. And again, you just don't have the flow. And that's what's going on.
Yeah, plain and simple, looking at the schedule upcoming as, again, we previewed it, I do believe, last week before the San Jose State loss, which, again, I told you that was going to happen. Again, it was a 20-point loss for the Wyoming Cowboys.
I was hoping for some positive news, though.
Again, this team right now doesn't have a whole lot of positives around it just due to the fact of, again, all these injuries. But looking up again tonight against UNLV, not going to win that game. At Boise, at New Mexico for the next 2. Not winning that one. Home against Air Force. Air Force already beat them down there in Clune. I think Air Force wins that contest. You're at CSU. Again, rivalry. You give them a puncher's shot in that one. But, again, Rams are just as bad. So that would probably be my one of maybe you can pull off that victory as you already did against CSU. So maybe get the sweep against the Rams. You're home against Nevada. You're not beating the Wolfpack. And then, again, rounding out the season at number 25 as of right now, San Diego State. So 1-7. 1-7 is, at least for me, the best that the Cowboys could do to end the regular season.
And I've been wrong, but I just don't see the Cowboys winning another game. I really don't.
Like I said, the CSU is a good opportunity because, again, the Rams are, if not even worse than the Cowboys right now, which, again, is mildly surprising. But
it'll be a home-and-home type of series this year because the Cowboys didn't win going away against the Rams at
won by a point.
Yeah. So, and you're going to go down to Moby, and I've been to many CSU Wyoming games down there, and it's always a battle. So you sit there and look at and again, I hope I am wrong, but I just don't see a W coming up in this column for the remainder of the season. And again, and I feel for Jeff Linder because, what do? You just can't start pulling guys out of the stands and say, hey, we need you to suit up. And I mean, that's about how close he's getting right now. With the way the injury situation has happened.
It becomes a little bit concerning as, again, we'll need to take a break here, but it does become concerning as well, too, for the future of the Wyoming Cowboys where, again, this season, complete wash, forget about it, nothing special is going to happen. Again, I think that's kind of plain and simple, not to be at least too harsh on that team, but sorry, nothing has proven that this team will turn it around and, again, all of a sudden have an unbelievable run. It's just not going to happen. But now you look towards the future, and again, regarding recruiting and the potential transfer portal of who's going out, who's coming in, a season like this, where Jeff Linder obviously is still at least recruiting as of right now during the season, and again, his staff, but with the season how it has gone, you wonder if it affects some of those potential signees to the Wyoming Cowboys that now go and look, do I really want to come here? Because, again, you got a lot of turmoil. I don't know who's all returning. I might take my chance with with School B.
But the selling point is you can come in and be an impact player right away. So, again, if there is that, that 3-4 star.
If I'm Jeff Linder, again, if you want that immediate impact player, JUCO. Look to, again, JUCO.
Well, yeah, you definitely need to do that, but also, too, Nick, again, first and foremost, you don't come to Laramie to sit on the bench, okay? So, again, as you're out recruiting that decent basketball player, there is that story that you can possibly get in there right away and be an impact player. So, yeah, JUCO, first and foremost, where Jeff may have to start going to get immediate help, but also, too, to get that impact player, that 3 or 4 star, type of recruit. Hey, we can get you into this lineup right away.
The player that makes the most sense to me, and again, I think would fit well in that lineup. Again, he might be undersized to an extent, but again, we'll look to the local product that has been with Cheyenne East with LCCC, who's again had 3 years now on the collegiate level. One Xavier McCourt. Makes sense to me. Bring in those eyes again of a local product, playing it similar to again a Hunter Thompson. He's going to be an immediate impact player for you.
But you also have some good JUCO action all throughout this.
I'm just saying, as one player that again makes the absolute sense to again recruit over to Laramie would be one Xavier McCourt, who again bringing over those Cheyenne fans, those LCCC fans. Again, he's got 3 years of collegiate experience. Again, taking on big guys up and down this region and outside of Region 9. Like I said, the writing's on the wall. That makes sense of he can be your immediate impact guy.
And again, where Linder would plug him in at, your guess is as good as mine. And again, look at Maldonado. Maldonado, what, a 6'7", 6'8" kid at the guard position? Do you make him a small forward? Do you make him a guard? I don't know. I have no idea. We do need to pause for a break here. This is the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti. He's Nick Proietti. We're back after these words.
For almost 60 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM, and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proietti at 307-637-0301.
When you are dealing with the Coin Shop to buy, sell, or trade your gold, silver, or other precious metals, you will be met with honesty, fairness, knowledge, and exceptional customer service. The Coin Shop has been serving Cheyenne since 1982 and is a respected member of our community. Call David today at 778-7196 to meet privately or visit during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The Coin Shop, a dealer you can trust. 510 West 16th Street.
Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies is leaning in. We know this is a difficult time for many Wyoming families and that nobody should suffer due to a lack of food. If you or someone you know is in need of nutritious foods, go to our website at wyomingfoodbank.org and click on Get Help. We also need your help. Go to our website, click the Give tab, then Events to learn how you can help your community through volunteering and making a donation. You can play a role in fighting hunger and feeding hope. Please give today.
Tired of choosing between errands and adventures? Platte Valley Bank can help you take care of everything without missing anything. Next time you get a check, just sign, snap, and send the money directly into your account with mobile deposit. We can't fill your fridge, but we can save you a trip to the bank. Mark another errand off your list and get back to life. Platte Valley Bank, you belong here.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Well, the wise for today, sunshine and windy. Expected daytime high near 41. Winds out of the west, 25 to 30. Gusting as high as 45. For tonight, partly cloudy with a chance of snow during the evening. Our low dropping down to 16 degrees. Tomorrow, Thursday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 24. And for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low dropping down to 11 degrees. There we go. We welcome you back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. And, keep it on Mountain West Conference, especially since we have thrown that out there a couple, 3 times at CSU. The situation that happened most recently with the Rams fans and
more so the student section of at least.
And again, let me just say this, and I've seen the BYU chants through the years. I was on the floor of the AA on some of those nights where the student fans were getting pretty hot and heavy on BYU. But in this day and age, in the year 2023, still some turbulence amongst the nation. And, again, political factions. Some of the stuff that you sit down as a group of guys and you want to go to a game and you sit there and say, hey, this is what we're going to do tonight. The thought process is absolutely stupid. And again, too, when you have the university issuing the apology, that pretty much says what's going on there. I mean,
CSU came out with an apology again. Also, too, I do believe the new Mountain West commissioner came out with a statement as well too. I forget her name, but again, no longer Craig Thompson. But either way, though, again, it was a incident that made a ripple across the nation, not just here in the Mountain West Conference, but again around the nation. It picked up all over. But again, it was pretty much of I do believe Max Shula, again, for Utah State, when, again, Utah State was in town to take on CSU Rams. A student section of the Rams, again, yelled out where Shula was from. His family from Ukraine, but more so from Kiev. But, again, student section of the CSU Rams fans shouted out Russia to him to get in his head. And, again, obviously in this time with the Ukraine-Russia situation still going on, again, there is still a lot of fighting going on that border right now. And, again, a lot of lives being lost, especially civilian lives. Was it tasteless? Yes.
Absolutely.
Was it tasteless? Again, without a doubt, of the CSU, at least student section, without a doubt. But also, too, in my mind's eye, again, I'm not gonna condone it, but it is something where, what do you expect less from, again, teenagers in the college where, this is nothing new, and again, nothing new for CSU, but again, you look to, even my time at the University of Idaho, again, those student sections will bring up stupid and harsh things to say to get in your mind, and again, it's been happening for however long. Again, we have these incidents, and it's not, here tied to 2023. Again, it's been going on through college athletics, whether it is football. We saw the recent situation with BYU. Again, you see it with college basketball. Again, it's something that, yes, it is. It's wrong. It's something that, obviously, again, those students, got to think a little bit smarter on situations like that. But it's something that weirdly you expect it, because again, these are college kids. Let's remind them, college kids that are going to have controversial things to say and do that. And again, they're going to try and be funny.
Ribbing is one thing, okay? When you start ribbing, air ball, that type of deal, or you're making fun of when they're dribbling the basketball, that's one thing. When you start getting into names, it gets a little personal, but it's still within that gray area. Now when you're taking it to another level, politics, or and again too, who knows what has gone on with his family in the Ukraine. Yeah. Again, that personal touch is absolutely uncalled for. So again, with the students that, decided that they thought they were funny. They're not. And again, CSU is just a big embarrassment right now. And again, too, here's a situation.
It doesn't reflect. At least this is something though. You got to draw at least a fine line. Where again, does this reflect CSU men's basketball? And again, head coach Nico Medved out there. Again, this is not on the men's basketball team. Again, these are students that were here and again thought they were funny and did this. And again, also too, make the point that again, this is not an isolated incident, at least in college basketball or, again, college athletics, as I just mentioned. Again, this is something that has been going on for however long, and not even just student sections. Look at some fans that, again, will yell. Again, we even see it out. We even see, again, absolutely on the pro side. We even see it. I've heard it a couple times in the high school level, especially here in this state. Again, there are those rogue individuals that will say stupid stuff, and, again, it's something that don't condone, but it's you got to think a little bit smarter than what you're doing.
And again, I remember the
it's
days.
A game. I think plain and simple where I'm at least leading with this. Again, let's remind folks, especially in the high school level, and we're seeing it more and more with incidents. And again, not so much on the verbal abuse, which again does happen. It again goes towards also to officials more so in this day and age. But you got to remember, it's a game. It's not life and death.
I remember the days of doing the public address announcing, and I think I've heard it a couple times, too, since we've been out and about doing games. They read these announcements at the beginning of the game,
fan conduct, yeah.
Exactly, okay? And now I think the fan conduct message should probably be reread. And the reason why I'm saying it, it's almost become like when you go on an airplane. And they give you, pull out the packet in case of an emergency, blah, blah, blah. I think people just blow it off because they've heard it and they don't want to hear it anymore. I think in the situation, it needs to be reiterated. Fan conduct. And again, too, in the situation of CSU, boot them. I don't care that they paid. You know what? That's your punishment. You're out of here.
The question for CSU, again, regarding the student section, where, at least for me, is, again, this Russia chant went on for quite some time. Where was the athletic department at? Again, administrators there, again, at least representing CSU. Again, if you can hear this, again, with security, why wouldn't you be immediately over to that student section and say, hey, shut up, or, again, try to quiet them down, or, again, get them at least composed out there. It's something that, where were they at to immediately stop this? So, again, it's not an isolated incident, clearly. Obviously, it kind of hits a little bit closer home here, again, just down the road with CSU out there at Moby Arena. But, again, will an incident like this happen in years to come with another student fan base, or again, fan base in general?
This is not the end of the story.
Yeah, without a doubt. So it's going to happen. It's just, again, as an administrative body, or again, with the athletic department or whoever, again, is monitoring situations within these arenas, I guess plain and simple, you got to be on top of it.
And if I recall right, and I want to say he was out of Detroit. He was a doctor, a very well-to-do doctor. And, again, he had, seats a row or two behind the opposing team's bench. And I remember Michael Jordan a couple of times smiling at the guy. The guy was, from the time he sat down at the NBA game for 48 minutes, 12-minute quarters, he was on them like a rash. And again, he was that's what he did. He was a heckler. He didn't care that Michael Jordan went off for 80 points. Yeah. He wanted the Pistons to win. And, again, I'm thinking he was from Detroit. And he wanted the Pistons to win. And he was on Michael Jordan. He was on Scottie Pippen, everybody that came to the bench. And as a matter of fact, I think if I recall right, Michael, they showed the guy heckling him on, I think it was on ESPN. I got to go way back in time now. And Michael kind of smiled at the guy because he knew it was all in fun, the heckling. But, again, it wasn't personal. It was like, hey, you're the bad guys. You're the Bulls. We don't like you. Okay? Same thing, too, when the game was going on Saturday. Hey, you're the bad guys. We don't like you. But when you take it to a political and a personal level.
I think
above and beyond personal.
that's the difference of, again, keep it classy. Where, again, not at least not saying here you can't heckle, again, opposing teams or players, or, again, in various sport levels. Again, I think yeah, again, that's part of sports, and it's something that as an athlete you got to get used to, of the heckling. But yeah, I think you got to make that fine line difference of when it goes personal, when it becomes political, when it becomes, again, kind of on that extreme vein. That's where you step too far. And if you're going to heckle, keep it a little bit classy.
And again, I look back at some UW situations, and again, I have a lot of these memories. With teams coming in, we used to have newspapers when they were shooting free throws and rattle the newspapers. There were instances where they threw pennies on the court. And this is what I'm going to drive at here in just a second. Throwing pennies on the court where obviously security had to come out, or those that were working the AA had to go out there and clean them up. I remember somebody throwing a hot dog onto the court. I think that was against Utah many, many years ago. And I got on the microphone and said, please escort the person, whoever threw that hot dog, onto the basketball court. Because, again, the Cowboys bench, and Benny Dees was the head coach at the time, Cowboys bench got a warning from the officials for a delay of game. And basically when I came on and made the announcement saying, hey, again, please escort that person or persons out of the arena auditorium. Their conduct is unbecoming of basketball fans. Matter of fact, I looked up to my left, way up on top. People were pointing at who the culprit was. Security came up, escorted that person out. So, again, this is where I'm at with this, Nick. Even though CSU, the basketball team, did not get punished.
I don't think they should.
It's a delay of game. I think.
Yeah, I'm just saying, again, what this incident was not players of the CSU Rams basketball team saying it. It was more so, again, regarding Coach Medved, regarding the CSU Rams men's basketball team. Again, does not fall on them. It falls on CSU, and it falls on those students.
But
and
Coach
again,
Medved should have went to the table,
and
alerted the public address announcer about fan conduct. And this is what I'm saying.
But again, as a coach as well, too, are you really tuning in to, again, you can hear it, but again, are you really paying attention to what's going on around the arena? Or again, are you focused on what's going on in the court?
No, I think you do. And again,
I don't want to speak for Coach Medved, but again, it's something of where was his focus at? Again, truly, does he remember that incident, or again, was he focused on the game?
I think he does. And again, too, I'm disappointed that he did not go to that microphone, because I've seen coaches before take the microphone and say, hey, this is not cool. So again, you read the fan conduct message. I think this is, and I'm going to stand by this. Like it or not, fans, you read it 5 minutes before tip-off. Well, not everybody's in the stands, first and foremost. I think that should be read at halftime. And if it needs to be read during another portion of the game, I think it needs to be reiterated that fan conduct is most important. We're not telling you not to cheer. We're not telling you to boo. We're not talking about, hey, air ball, this, that, and the other thing. But, A, keep it clean, first and foremost. Don't get ultra-personal, whether it's religion or politics. Again, keep it clean. That's all we ask. I know there was a chant many, many years ago, and I'm not going to. It was blank U, BYU.
Yeah.
That's not cool, but it's funny. Back in the day, it was funny. Now it's not cool.
Obviously times are different now where, again, it is a sensitive time around the nation, around the world. So, again, what you can or cannot heckle out there, again, to opposing fan or players or fans, again, to be determined, or at least kind of on a case-by-case basis. But, it's something that, as I mentioned many a time, of will this be an isolated incident? Again, will this, again,
is it done and over with?
No. Again, it's not just collegiate sports. It goes up to the pros. It'll go down to high school ranks. Again, not so much here in the state of Wyoming, but again, throughout the nation. It's something that it's always going to be a part of the game. And I guess plain and simple, that's as best as you can do. Again, if you are administrative staffs, security at these arenas, at these stadiums, at these ballparks around the world, that you could, again, as soon as you hear it, or at least make that determining factor of, okay, that's not cool. You got to be on top of that immediately.
Just because you bought a ticket does not give you the right. You don't own the building.
Yeah.
And I think in the situation there, the building has rules. Moby Arena has rules. The AA has rules. And again, you've got a guy sitting on the floor or a lady sitting on the floor reading those rules. And again, those rules are A, Moby Arena. Those are Mountain West Conference rules. And C, those are rules that are in general for the sport. So, again, just because you bought a ticket does not give you absolute control. But, again, we don't want to take the fun away from you. See, again, it's a catch-22. You can do this, but it's got to be tapered back somewhat. Because, again, we want you to heckle. We want the bad guys to lose, don't we? But, again, it's got to be done with class.
It's some, and, again, a few individuals or folks out there,
and
again,
they should be barred.
But I'm just saying, again, it only takes a few to, again, kind of sour the fan bases or, again, bring up incidents like this. Again, I remember at least back in September, again, being at a Broncos game, again, a couple individuals behind me trying to heckle me, again, didn't bother me, but also, too, again,
you were wearing a 49ers.
I was wearing a 49ers, at least, jersey, but, again, when I stood up and kind of told them to shut up, they kept quiet for the remainder of the game, but it's something that again, it takes a small select few to kind of ruin that experience. And, again, you're starting to see with stadiums, you're starting to see with events that, hey, here's a text line or here's this or that to get a hold of fan conduct security to take care of an individual. But, again, it's tough to take care of every incident across the entire landscape. But, again, going back, though, to this incident with CSU against Utah State with the student section, again, make note that it's the student section, not the team of CSU. But am I surprised that a student section did something like this? No. Again, they're young, they're dumb, they're college kids. They want to be funny. They think they're going to come up with creative, dumb ways to do stuff like this. And again, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me with CSU. It doesn't surprise me X, Y, and Z. Again, this is not an isolated incident. Again, it will continue for as long as sports exists.
This is the punishment, and this is what has to be doled out. I don't care that you got a student activity card and you're allowed and free to all these events. You're 86th for the remainder of the year. I don't care if there's 5, 10, 15 games left. You're out. Whether it's one guy, 5 guys, 10 guys. They got them all on video. Okay? Yeah. So the entire group, and I don't care if you're the best fans in the world and you're professional hecklers. I don't care. You're 86th because that was insensitive. Again, a lot of these guys, even the young men on the college side, they can let that stuff bounce off. I'm rubber, you're glue, that type of deal, okay? But when you get to the extremism that they did at Moby Arena,
and clearly,
as the athletic director, they're out.
Yeah,
they will never be back in again.
And clearly, it did affect the player again. He made a statement as well to post the incident. Again, he expressed of, hey, I kind of me and again for my family live in kind of that sense of fear of again, will they be alive after again all this is said and done with this ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine? Again, that's a whole different subject, but it's something that. Again, they are innocent lives in the middle of a political conflict, and obviously there's massive concern. So, it's tough. And again, for CSU, did not see, again, what punishments will be doled out, again, if it will be to specific groups, individuals, again, if they caught who X, Y, and Z it was. But, again, CSU for the remainder of the home contests, I'd say, again, I think you kind of alluded to, if you are a free entry student of CSU, and again, I think you got to punish them all just for the select few. Yeah, students, I don't think should be allowed. Yeah,
you're out. And again, too, do they deserve
at least not allowed for the remainder of this regular season? Let's make note of that. Not forever.
And again, doing what they did, it is basically, hey, it's not jail time. Because again, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. They can do. They can do that kind of First Amendment.
Yeah, they don't need a fine. They don't need a ticket. They don't need anything like this again. Yes, they have the right to say that. But again, it was more so of Be classy
You
about it.
don't yell fire in a crowded movie house. It's a pretty simple.
That's completely different.
No, but I'm just saying that's kind of what they were trying to do. The point is
not really, because that would cause panic. You're talking about causing panic. This was, again, just a plain old simple harsh heckle.
You don't think the folks in the stands were appalled by their behavior?
But it's nothing where, again, you're saying yell fire in a crowded movie theater. Again, that causes panic. That is something punishable with a fine or a ticket or, again, possibly
well, that's
jail
what I'm saying.
time. This is different, though.
They didn't do
this
that.
was just insensitive. It was stupid. And
again, too, here's what you do. And again, I'm the athletic director. You got it on video. You call student A, B, C, D, E into the whatever, the office, however you do it, and you say, guess what? You can never go to a game the rest of this season. You're banned from Moby Arena. And that's
hell. I'd probably, again, as this has got a little bit of black eye on CSU athletics in general. I figure, again, if you're that athletic department or an admin there at CSU, if you have those individuals known and confirmed. Hell, why not just go get above and beyond and say, hey, you're not coming to any single athletic event ever as your time here at CSU because of what you just did.
Well, again, this is
it might be a little harsh, but I wouldn't be surprised if CSU, again, if they got to that point, would go to that extent of going, yeah, again, we're not going to tolerate, here it is, how it happens right now. You're not coming again.
I would just basically strip them of their basketball rights, that they cannot attend another game this season at Moby Arena, both men and women. That would be the way I would go as athletic director. Again, we're not going to divvy out harsh punishments on these guys. And to me, being 86, that's a reasonable punishment.
But 86 for their time there as a student at CSU, would that be too out of line? I don't think so. I could see them trying to set, as again, we talked about it on Monday again on K-Ray Reports again, talking about setting up kind of punishment for the crime where, again, you want to have that kind of at least harsher punishment to kind of teach that lesson. Why not? Not saying it's right, but I wouldn't be surprised at CSU if, again, they are to find those individuals, go, hey, your time as a student here, you're not going to any athletic event ever as your time here as a student because of what you did. So, but we shall see. Again, it is a bit of a black eye. Again, it's at least regarding CSU. This is not a black eye in the Mountain West Conference. I don't think so.
It's not a trend.
No.
It was a one-time incident. And the nice thing is it's been nipped in the bud. So, you sit here and you look at it, and again, in Fort Collins, all you're telling the athletic department is grow a pair. Find the individuals, and it may have already happened. We don't know. I don't have all the particulars here in front of me, but I'm just saying, grow a pair down there in Fort Collins, and tell these young people, no, you can't come back into this gymnasium for the remainder of the season.
And also, too, again, are there other events that have happened in recent years or recent time that have been unnoticed or have not made national headlines? Yeah. I would say pretty comfortably, yeah. Again, where you're dealing with it on, as we alluded to, high school to collegiate to pro sports, it's bound to happen. That's the unfortunate thing.
Even in youth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is getting out of hand, but,
it definitely
the political aspect of this was uncalled for. Just totally uncalled for.
It definitely takes away from the fan experience. It takes away from the fun of the game. And, again, I think that's plain and simple. You got to remind yourself that, again, it's a game at the end of the day. It's not life or death. It's something that, again, you can heckle, but, again, keep it classy that, again, you're not taking it to that extreme because, again, that's completely unnecessary.
Let's go back to your situation at Empower Field at Mile High State. Did you ever feel you were in danger?
No.
It was just good ribbing, right?
I wouldn't say good ribbing. It had a harsh level and something that, was I ever in danger? No. Again, they were for...
You felt threatened, though, didn't you?
I wouldn't say threatened. It was more so of, again, they were just annoying and something where I basically had to step up and say, hey, shut up. And again, they thought they were cool and funny. And, again, it was... I would say they were guys that were older than me, but, again, skinnier than I was. Again, they were sticks. It was something, as soon as they stood up, they shut up. And, again, was I threatened? No. Was my girlfriend threatened? No, I don't think so either.
But it takes away from the enjoyment.
It takes away from the game, yeah, without a doubt. It
you
definitely
paid
did.
for that.
Yeah.
See, again,
I know what I get myself into when, again, I'm at opposing events or opposing stadiums. But, again, this, at least at the Broncos contest, was a little bit above and beyond. But, again, I'm that individual where, again, I'm not afraid to step up and say, hey, shut up, or, again, get out of my face. I'll stand up for myself. But, again, for those individuals that, again, don't want to do that or at least want to avoid that confrontation, you feel bad for them.
All right, let me ask you the next question. What was the reaction around you with the little interaction? Or
I think again, it seemed like everyone was fine with it because it seemed like even Broncos fans, again, we were sitting next to a lovely older couple that were Broncos fans that, again, kind of applauded saying, yeah, they were annoying.
All right, so here's the next thing. You're at Moby Arena, and whether you're sitting on that side with the home fans or you have your season ticket across the way, again, I paid for my seats to watch a basketball game, not a political outburst or whatever the case may be. Again, what bothers me is that for the 99.8% that go to these games are pretty doggone good people.
Yeah.
You have a couple that get a little liquored up.
Like I said, I have been to 2 different NFC championship games, one of them in Seattle, nonetheless against the 49ers, where, again, that was a heated rivalry back in the day. Again, I've spent how many times, again, as a Giants fan at Coors Field. Again, I've been a Warriors fan at Ball Arena with the Nuggets. I've been a Vegas Golden Knights fan or an Anaheim Ducks fan, taking on Colorado Avalanche. So, again, I've been in those opposing situations because just due to the fact that, again, I live here in the Mountain West and I live here in Wyoming where, again, my teams are on the left coast. It's something that, again, I know what I get myself into, but, again, at least this September for that Sunday night game was kind of the first incident that I've had where, again, it kind of stepped to that next level where, again, guys thought they were funny, having a grand old time. I would assume a little beard up as well, too. But, again, that was the first for me who've attended a lot of events. That's the first where it kind of went to that extreme of, all right, I got to step up and say something because you're not funny. You're not cool. This is just pathetic.
And again, like I said, it's 70-some thousand fans and two knuckleheads, ruining it or 4 of them ruining it for that whole section there. And what should Mile High do? Either get rid of the guys, ask them to leave, right? That'd be the first thing to do, or you put them in their little holding cell that they got down at the stadium. Again.
Or hopefully one day they realize to grow up because, again, they were like 40-some-year-old men.
But also, too, Nick, you paid for that ticket.
Yeah.
You paid for 3.5 hours of entertainment, whether the Niners win, Niners lose.
I don't know if it was entertainment. That was one of the worst
I know,
games.
but my point is that you're paying for this. And even though they paid for their ticket, it does not give them those rights because that's not freedom of expression. What they are trying to do is incite. And that's the thing.
And again, that's the difference, and that's a fine line as we're at the top of the hour. But again, I've been heckled plenty of times at, again, various sites. But again, it was nothing extreme or personal or, again, went over the top. Again, I can take it. I'm a big boy, and it's something that I know what I'm getting myself into when I wear those opposing colors. But, again, it was this isolated event where, again, it went to an extreme. And, again, we'll not give those examples because, again, it was a little, at least the FCC would not
racy,
FCC would not be too happy with me. But it's something that, again, it was the first of however many events I have attended in my lifetime that I had to go and say, hey, no, stand up, shut up. And, again, you're kind of ruining the experience because everyone else here is perfectly fine and dandy, at least around me. So,
unfortunately, the maturity level is not at your level, I guess.
And like I said, it was 4 individuals out of an entire section that was pretty damn well behaved.
And pretty stupid, though, to do stuff like that. All right, we do need to take a break here. We are at the top of the hour. Hour number 1 has flown right by. We'll come back. We got some professional hoops to talk about. Super Bowl 57. 49ers have a new defensive coordinator, oh, by the way. And Jimmy G and the 49ers might be saying bye-bye soon. We're back after these words here on 1480 K-Ray.
Message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Now that the colder weather is upon us, it's more important than ever to make sure that your brakes on your vehicle are operating at 100%. So if you noticed a grinding or squeaky noise every time you brake, then it's high time you stop into the Brake Stop at 1622 East Lincoln Way, where Wayne and his crew will fit your car or truck with the best brakes to go along with best service and the best price. Wherever your travels take you, and whatever weather conditions Mother Nature throws at you, you can always feel confident that the brakes on your vehicle came from the Brake Stop. Call 307-514-6231 or drop by to 1622 East Lincoln Way in Cheyenne.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Hacienda Guadalajara at 317 East Lincoln Way. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Hacienda Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
Hurry, Jewelers' 33rd annual Big Game Liquidation Sale is going on now. Don't fumble the ball by missing out on this huge sale. Save 50 to 75% on every item in the store. Every ring, every watch, every necklace, and every earring stud set needs to go. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring a friend, and save 50 to 75% on fine jewelry today. Pre-shop now for the best selection. This sale happens once a year. Stop in today and save. HurryJewelers.com.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-298-5783. 800-298-5783. 800-298-5783. That's 800-298-5783.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Well, the wise for today, sunshine and windy. Expected daytime high near 41. Winds out of the west, 25 to 30. Gusting as high as 45. For tonight, partly cloudy with a chance of snow during the evening. Our low dropping down to 16 degrees. Tomorrow, Thursday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 24. And for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low dropping down to 11 degrees.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. It is hour number 2 of the Pro Show, and again, too, as I was leading into the break, as the Knicks over there rushing me along, we do want to mention Broncos, too. Since you were talking about Broncos 49ers, big news out of the Denver area concerning Sean Payton. But first, I'm going to give it a little bit of time because I personally don't like the guy, but I wouldn't be one of those heckling him in the stands either. I'd be booing him more than anything. A candidate for GOAT, greatest of all time, that being LeBron James. As far as, again, a lot of arguments would be against him or for other players, but LeBron James set in a milestone, Nick.
Again, as again, knew that this was happening, again, albeit as well, too, again, L.A. at home hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll talk about that game. But, yeah, again, LeBron James, at least, 10 seconds remaining in that third quarter, hit the at least three-pointer or two-pointer, again, to at least vault himself as the, again, points leader all-time over Kareem. Again, it's a record where... For me, at least as I process, again, records and stuff like that, again, yeah, it's impressive, but does it move the needle for me of a LeBron James, who, again, already is in that conversation of, yes, greatest of all time? Does, again, him becoming the all-time score, at least point getter again in the NBA, all of a sudden make me change my opinion on the guy? No, I still think LeBron James is selfish, all about himself, and I think that again,
exactly.
he's a complete moron. But it's something that it's impressive, yes, but compared to MLB, I think Major League Baseball is that place, is that sport where again records hold a lot of weight. Where in NBA, something like this, again, the all-time 3-point, attempts or scores. Again, I think Steph Curry still holds that right now, again, or at least is vaulting himself
and probably
up.
will retire as that.
But I'm just saying, it's something that, again, a lot of these records in the NBA ranks, again, could I again, a couple months ago tell you who the hell was leading the all-time points in the NBA? Could I tell you it was Kareem? No, I did not know, because again, it was I'm just saying it was a record that is not really talked about. It doesn't hold that weight, similar to, again, MLB or, again, to NHL with, again, points or goals that, again, Wayne Gretzky has. It's something that, again, in MLB of, hey, here's a season home run record, again, of Barry Bonds. Here's the all-time home run record of Barry Bonds. Again, it's something that in the NBA, records don't really hold a lot of weight comparison to other sports.
Let me stop you there. Same thing, too. You talk about Gretzky, you talk about Bonds. Gretzky started his career with Edmonton, finished it up with L.A. Bonds started with the Pirates, wrapped up with the Giants, right? You look at LeBron James.
Gretzky was also on other teams, but yeah.
But I'm just saying for the most part. But you look at a LeBron James, started in Cleveland. Hey, he's in his native Ohio. There's no other place I want to be. And next thing you know, he does this big spiel going to Miami.
Which, again, was one of the dumbest moves. Again, any player, not even just for LeBron. That's the dumbest thing anyone could ever do.
He had to do a production. And then he's got to do a production coming back to Cleveland. And Cleveland's good.
They get their one championship, yeah.
And then he's got to go to Los Angeles. The guy is phony, all right? I look at other past NBA stars. I look at the late Kobe Bryant, a Laker from day one.
Yeah.
I look at Michael Jordan, a Chicago Bull, from day one, even though he retired and came back.
And he went as a Wizard, yeah, but
again, he finished his career as a Chicago Bull.
But again, the stupid stint with the Wizards, yeah.
Then you look at Wilt Chamberlain, a Philadelphia Warrior, a Philadelphia 76er, and then wrapped up his career with the Lakers. You look at a Shaq, Orlando.
He went everywhere.
But again,
Phoenix, L.A.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, again,
Orlando and the Lakers.
But I'm just saying, again, he was with Phoenix. He was with Cleveland at a point in time. Again, right. Shaq was the true journeyman.
I'm going to use Kareem then. Kareem, Milwaukee Buck, wrapping up his career with the Lakers. What I'm driving at, LeBron James's record to me has no sincerity to it. It's just, who cares?
It's also
it's all about you. It was all about him.
Yeah, again, he's selfish. Again, the record itself, yes, is impressive. Give him kudos of what he was able to do. Obviously, it's in different times where, again, we have heavy weight on 3 points, the ability to get points, especially when he is a superstar. Again, he's a lone guy. Again, it kind of adds into that conversation. But, again, yes, kudos, congrats. Yes, LeBron, we knew you were great. This just kind of elevates that argument. Again, are you the greatest of all time in the NBA ranks? Yes, it does. It certainly does help. But again, this record, as impressive as it is, again, does not hold weight, especially in the NBA where, again, what are fans, what are players it feels like more concerned with? And again, LeBron's one of them as well. What are you more concerned with? It is championships. That's where we kind of weigh, again, your greatness level of championships. That's why, again, Michael Jordan is, again, considered, again, one of the greatest of all time. 6 with the Chicago Bulls. I think championships holds a hell of a lot more weight than a single or, again, a career record like this. Again, it's a flash in the pan. Again, 5 years from now, will anyone remember this moment?
Yeah, no, because somebody will be challenging it. Again, as you go, Steph Curry's going to be challenging this pretty quick. Think about it. His career.
Who knows? I don't know where he's at point-wise.
But his career with the Warriors, if it continues and he's got 5 more seasons, we're going to start talking about him being in the top 10.
But again, you look to this game last night, which again was televised, full crowd there at the Crypto.com arena. Again, you're taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and again, this was something that I saw on social media, and I would agree with, where again, LeBron, as we talk about selfish, it's about him. It's all about him. This was the perfect example of, again, it was about him. It was about this moment. It was about him, not the team, where, again, hey, I make this record. We're pausing the game, and, it is what it is. Again, Thunder, I think at that point in time, again, when he hit that record, we're up leading by 10. You look to, again, the finale of this contest, Oklahoma City still won this game by 3 points, 133 to 130.
Yeah.
Again, you're trying to win games here with the Los Angeles Lakers where, yes, again, the record's nice and fine and dandy, but, again, isn't it more concerning for you, LeBron James and company, that, again, you want to win this ball game against a very winnable team of the Oklahoma City Thunder where, again, you want to get into the playoffs? That's where, again, I wouldn't say I have an issue, but, again, that's kind of the comical thing about what happened last night where, again, you set the record, you still found a way to lose.
Yeah. And with him, found a way probably go to the bench and just say, hey, you know what, we'll let so-and-so play, Because, again, where are they at in the standings? They're not even in the –
They're dead last.
Yeah, they're not even in playoff competition right now.
Well,
contention,
at least looking at the standings right now, again, especially on the west side, and we'll talk at least very quickly on the Denver Nuggets, who, again, still stand at the top at number 1 seed. 4.5 game for them over the Memphis Grizzlies, so the Nuggets pretty comfortable that you got to figure that they're going to be the number 1 seed heading into playoffs. Los Angeles right now, they are 13 games back behind the Denver Nuggets. They sit right now, again, just behind Portland, just behind Oklahoma City. Looks like about, a game and a half behind them. 2 games behind the Utah Jazz, who are in that 10 spot. That is the end of the playoffs. So, again, they're still 2 games behind. So, again, this is a game that mattered. This is a game that, again, you got to get, especially if you want to vault over Oklahoma City, who, again, sits 2 spots in front of you right now on the outside looking into the playoffs. The theatrics, everything, again, it was just
about LeBron.
It was all about LeBron. It's about him. It wasn't about the team. We know that this guy is selfish. That's why I have such a sour opinion on the guy. Again, I respect the fact that, yes, he is one of the greatest that we're watching in our lifetime. But it's something that it is that egotistical version of him where, again, it's about me, it's about this moment, and our team still found a way to lose.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if I look back on the Kobe Bryant career where Kobe went off for, 63 points against Utah, the Lakers were totally out of it, but the Lakers made sure he got the basketball all night long because they wanted him to eclipse that record. So
I do believe they still won that game, too.
Yeah, but they were out of contention.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically, stick a fork in them, they were done. Because I think I was in Arizona at that time. But
the difference is, again, with that was at the end of the regular season. This is still plenty of games left. You're 2 behind Oklahoma City. Chance to gain ground on them to get, at least kind of entertain the playoffs. And you still can't get it done?
Yeah.
Again, it's something that, and again, I love it, again, as, again, biggest Laker hater here without a doubt, especially just with, again, the nuance, again, with Golden State and Los Angeles, that rivalry. But, again, the selfishness, and this is something where I hold heavy weight, as I mentioned with the championships, too. Again, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time in the NBA history as of right now.
Right.
LeBron puts his name in contention, but I think his on-the-court persona, again, the selfishness, the egotisticalness, it's about me, not so much the team, that's what I have the issue with, where Michael Jordan was that team guy. Sure as hell felt like it. He was that team player. Had phenomenal moments, had some great, at least, records, and again, I guess plain and simple, and I mentioned it early on, that is this record impressive in my mind's eye? Not really. Not again. It is something that it holds a lot of weight, but again, is it something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my lifetime? Probably not.
No. You know who names come up right away in my generation? And again, even though I'm still following the stuff, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. What impacts did you have on your teams? And again, those guys won't be in the scoring leaders, but they were all-around basketball players. LeBron James is a me player. Michael Jordan was not a me player. Michael Jordan was a team player. How about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a team player. But my point is, though, with LeBron James, yeah, put him in the argument of the greatest of all time. I'm not going to dispute that fact. Do I really care about LeBron James? Hell, no.
Again, NBA with records like this do not hold weight compared to, again, championship numbers. Plain and simple.
And
Plain
he's got
and simple.
championships.
Like I said, go a couple months back ago, and like I said, this caught me off guard. I didn't even realize LeBron was going after the record because I didn't care. I didn't know. It's something that, again, records in the NBA, yes, albeit, again, impressive. Kudos to everyone who has that record for whatever various stat level, but it's something that, again, fans, players, coaches, organizations, what are you more concerned with? What holds a lot more weight toward your persona? What holds more weight to, again, who you are as an athlete? It's championships. And LeBron's got them. Not as much as Michael Jordan. Like I said, does this record help his argument to greatest of all time? A little bit. But I don't think it's as significant of if they were to win a championship this year. Plain and simple. Because, again, records in the NBA are not as, I guess plain and simple of the terminology, is not as impressive as compared to, for whatever reason, to me, again, points, goals in NHL. Home run, single season to all-time home run record in MLB.
What about contributions to the game? I threw all that out there. Again, I look at his contributions to the game.
He's brought eyes. He's brought fans in, without a doubt. Again, fans.
In Cleveland?
Cleveland, Miami, now to Los Angeles, without a doubt. Again, he's brought eyes and attention, not even just nationwide, but again, globally to the NBA ranks, which, again, has brought him into a little controversy, especially with his whole stance on China as well, too. But he has definitely contributed to the game and elevated the NBA. But outside of that, though, again, the guy, the person, who he is, and you saw it, and again, I think it was a prime example of last night that, again, it's about him. It's not about the team. I got the record. We still got the loss. It's a little ridiculous.
Man, he's not too butthurt that they lost. That's how I always interpret it.
Right now it's kind of a question mark with LeBron. Again, will he stick around as a Laker after this season? Especially where, again, you had the super team. You had Westbrook. You had all these pieces coming in. Again, granted, you still have Russell in that position, even though, again, Russell seems, and again, I always stand that Russell will, at least Westbrook is also to a head case. He's been a head case since, again, his time with Oklahoma City. But you have the super team. It kind of brings up the argument right now. Again, if they miss the playoffs again here this season, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron kind of just tucks tail and goes, "I'm out." And I'll go to a potential contender, or at least find other superstars in the making.
Well,
whether it's going to Dallas, as Dallas is trying to make that move right now, again, adding Kyrie.
And they were the champions of 2020, right?
Which, again, you put an asterisk on that.
Nobody cared about
the bubble championship. Yeah,
nobody cared about that season as well. But hey, he got another ring. Again, I don't even want to waste my time on him. I do want to mention, though, you mentioned the Denver Nuggets. Interesting note with the Nuggets. They, at home at Ball Arena, have just been dominating. Matter of fact, the other night against the Warriors, just cleaned the clock of Golden State. But on the road, we're going to talk about a mortal team. I think they're under 500 on the road.
12 and 13 now.
Yeah, they're under 500 on the road. So for the Denver Nuggets right now, you definitely want to be that number one seed. You fall any lower than number 4 or 5, you could have some problems in the playoffs.
The only team, as again looking at the standings right now, especially in that top 6. There's only 2 teams that have above 500 record, and again, it just tells you how tough it is to win on the road in the NBA. Let's see, L.A. Clippers 17-15, Sacramento Kings at 14-12. Those are the only 2 teams in the West right now that hold above 500 on the road. So obviously, it tells you how tough it is to get it done.
And there's a lot of balance, especially in the West. And again, we can talk about the East as well, but in the West, and again, it's nice to see that we're using Sacramento in a sense, because Sacramento has been beaten up. For the last.
Not really against Sacramento. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, one and done this year in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying though, they just never qualified. That's the bottom line.
That's on their ownership. But again,
I understand. That's just saying it's some new blood into the playoffs. But again, you look at the West this year, how balanced it is. You look at the Warriors. The Warriors are beaten up. They're going through a Jeff Linder on the professional side, but somehow, some way,
they're still getting it done.
They still find a way to win at Chase. They struggle on the road, but
they mightily struggled on the road.
But you look at though The Nuggets, Memphis, you go right, Phoenix, you go right down the list. How tightly knit that Western Conference is. One loss, and you could drop a position in the standings right now.
Yeah, one loss, one win. Again, it vaults you just multiple spots at this point. So it's going to be fun to watch as we get down to the end of this regular season, which, again, we're, as it stands right now, at least we got many games still remaining. But
what about Kyrie Irving going to Dallas? Does he help? Does he help that stretch run?
Well, again, that seemed like that trade is on pause right now because it seems like Brooklyn and Dallas want to add another team right now. So, again, it's not been official, at least from the last, at least I checked, I do believe about a day ago. But, again, it doesn't seem like it's official yet. But, again, if it's if it's to go through as it seems like it will, Kyrie going to Dallas, you put him up with that dangerous lineup. He adds talent, but he's kind of the same vein of Westbrook for me, where, again, he's a head case. He's a head case. Again, you had all the off the court situation with the anti-Semitic stuff. Again, we go back to COVID with him and his stance, which, again, absolutely have your stance on things. What am I to tell you, again, what you can or cannot believe in?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But it's something that you kind of go with Kyrie right now, where I equate him to, again, one Colin Kaepernick of, is it worth to have this guy on your team with all the off-the-court situations? Is it worth the headache? And, again, Mark Cuban, who's controversial, and it seems like he's a tough owner as well, too. He can take, situations like this. He's kind of the perfect to pick up. He's perfect to pick up a Kyrie and kind of maybe keep him at least on that straight and narrow and focus on basketball. But does Dallas, with adding Kyrie, all of a sudden make them the best team in the West, or, again, a team to keep an eye out? A little bit.
It adds a little bit to the.
It adds
intrigue.
Salad, yeah. It adds intrigue now to the Dallas Mavericks. But is it something that all of a sudden you'll see the Dallas Mavericks compete for the number one seed? No, they're a playoff team. Again,
are they a 2 or 3? Yeah,
we'll see.
They're a 2 or 3.
We'll see. Again, Memphis is really talented.
Irving.
But I'm just saying, Memphis is really talented right now. You see with the Sacramento Kings, they're on an unbelievable run. Again, I've been waiting for those Kings to just fall off the edge of the cliff. But the addition to Kyrie going to Dallas, will it vault Dallas up in the standings and vault them a higher seed? I think so. But are they a number one contender, or at least that number one seed over the Denver Nuggets? No. Are they the best team in the West adding Kyrie? No. Not really. It adds, but it's not as if Dallas were all of a sudden to get Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant would have been the guy. He can be that guy that can change your franchise and all of a sudden go, ooh, we got to respect. Again, look what happened when, again, he went on to the Golden State Warriors.
And the question is for Kevin Durant, how much longer in Brooklyn?
He's got to be done.
It just doesn't sound like that's even that
it's not viable.
That golden slipper is just not fit.
No, I think it has been a bad relationship out there in Brooklyn. That you got to imagine that his time there is done, and where he'll land to be determined. Again, we'll see what happens also too with LeBron James, where, again,
don't care.
Albeit, again, he's got the COVID bubble championship, but outside of that, in the past couple seasons, we've seen where we get back into real live action. This Lakers team is crap.
Yeah,
it's not doing anything on the court. So, again, this offseason might be pretty interesting enough. Does LeBron stay as a Laker? Do the Lakers move on from him? Who else do the Lakers move on from? Brooklyn. Will KD stick around? Will KD be gone? I think, for, again, my personal opinion, again, looking at the offseason, I figure LeBron's gone, going off to somewhere else. I figure KD's going to move on to somewhere else. Do those two powers come together in some team and try to make a superpower together? That'd be interesting.
Nah.
I could see it. I don't know who would put up that money, but again, we'll see. But as it stands right now, again, looking at the standings, especially in the Western Conference, again, Denver Nuggets 38-17. Again, they are your number one seed. They're on a one-game winning streak. Again, winning last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves, 146-112. What can you say about the Nuggets? Yes, we expect this out of a healthy team. This is what the Nuggets are advertised.
They've been healthy.
They've been healthy. We'll see what this team is like come the playoffs, where, again, we've seen, albeit, again, they've had the injuries. They've had the piece, again, especially with Jamal Murray, go on out. What is this team made of? Again, we've said this a couple weeks ago, about a month ago at this point in time with the Denver Nuggets of, the regular season is a wash. Or at least, again, who cares? You're not really focused on that. It's more so of, we know you're making it to the playoffs. Can you make it to a Western Conference Finals? And that's the key factor with this Nuggets team as they continue to win, as they continue to be the number one seed here in the Western Conference, which, again, West is the best. The West is the best right now in the NBA. If the Nuggets, and I stand by this, and I said it about a month ago, that if the Nuggets cannot make it to the Western Conference Finals, there's got to be a massive shakeup within that franchise of where obviously the pieces that you have in right now can't get it done. You need to find something.
Yeah.
You need to find something.
Absolutely.
And can it be a KD? Can it be a LeBron? Don't know.
You already had Carmelo Anthony in Denver. I don't think you want to bring LeBron.
He again, give credit to Carmelo. Again, he brought him to a Western Conference final.
And he wanted out.
I'm just saying he brought him to a Western Conference final as much as they did not compete against the LA Lakers. He's done more for that franchise than, again, these current players right now that, again, can't even sniff.
If you want
can't even sniff getting past that Western Conference final.
I don't know if you want to bring another head case into Denver. All right, speaking of Denver, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. Sean Payton, the newest Denver Bronco, and he's inked for 5 years. We're going to talk about that when we come back after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray.
For 17 years at Kia of Cheyenne, we have strived to offer the best value in a new vehicle. I'm A.J. Miller, and the new 2023 Kia Seltos will take on the roads with rugged capabilities for all climates. The 2023 Kia Seltos has available all-wheel drive, 10-inch touchscreen, heated seats, and turbocharged power. With the new Kia, get one of the best warranties in the business. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-245-3098. 800-245-3098. 800-245-3098. That's 800-245-3098.
In the 1960s, Bruce Lee said, "Be water, my friend." The meaning of that advice has been debated ever since. Here at First Tier Bank, we believe he meant that preserving your liquid assets in a high-yield money market account can get you a decent yield on your funds while maintaining your liquidity in choppy financial markets. We've got some of the best money market rates around, and we'd like to invite you to be water and make your liquid assets work for you. Stop by or call First Tier Bank today with 2 locations to serve you at 1508 Stillwater Avenue and 1800 Cary Avenue in downtown Cheyenne. Or check us out at firsttierbanks.com. First Tier Banks, member FDIC.
At the Cheyenne Regional Heart and Vascular Institute, you're welcomed with the warmth of a community hospital and cared for with help from the most advanced technology in the industry. With our full spectrum of in-house heart services and procedures, you can get the treatment you need, recover, and get right back out there, all while remaining close to home. Find out more at CheyenneRegional.org/heart.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, sunshine and windy. Expected daytime high near 41. Winds out of the west, 25 to 30. Gusting as high as 45. For tonight, partly cloudy with a chance of snow during the evening. Our low dropping down to 16 degrees. Tomorrow, Thursday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 24. And for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low dropping down to 11 degrees. All right, we welcome you back to the Pro Show as we are getting ready to head into the home stretch of our program. Again, repeat 4 until 6 o'clock here in 1480 K. I do want to thank our first guest this morning in the 11 o'clock hour, Cody Tucker. We had him on for just a short period of time because something was happening at the University of Wyoming, and he needed to direct his attention to that. You have researched, and what did you find out?
Well, it was more so, again, got the email in from the athletic department of UW that regarding Cowboy basketball, as it seemed like that was what the breaking news was going to be about, but it seems like, according to Jeff Linder, at least in a statement, said that at least today that it looks like Max, I'm going to butcher the last name, Agbonkpolo. Again,
Okay.
either way, Ethan Anderson and Jake Kyman have all been dismissed from the team. Make note as well, too, I do believe those are all the guys that transferred in from USC, UCLA into the program. So, again, you got 3 dismissals on the team, again, according to at least in a statement by Jeff Linder. So,
And you're going to probably, let's be real honest here, to interrupt you. Graham Ike will not be wearing brown and gold next year.
No.
I'm gonna throw that right now into the mix.
yeah, I feel pretty confident, again, now with this dismissal. And, again, we can only speculate of what happened or what caused this dismissal. But either way, again, you now have 3 more pieces that are gone for the puzzle of the Cowboys. So, again, the season that has just gone from bad to worse and even gotten even more bleaker with this recent news. It's a wash, and now you worry about the future seasons of who returns, if at all. And, again, what's this team going to look like? Where, again, for this felt like under Jeff Linder that this was a team year in and year out that was going to be an NCAA tournament contender. Now you kind of step back and pause and go, what is the true reality of this
but
team?
you got a few more scholarships now to waive. So again, can you attract that that Gold Star player to come to the University of Wyoming and Laramie? And again, Jeff
Linder, did with those individuals.
I mean,
and
Jeff Linder's got a track record. So again, that's the one thing that's going for Jeff Linder. He has won this season, like you said. Sweep it under the carpet. I mean, no coach in the country should go through what Linder went through this season.
Linder, again, on the statement, again, basically just said, hey, thank them for their contributions to the program, wish them well in the future, blah, blah, blah. Again, that just a generic statement. So who knows what led to this. Again, we look to, again, with Cowboy football, with all those dismissals on that team, it's concerning. Again, obviously, again, does this change the outcome of how the season was going to go for the remaining 8 games of the regular season? No, not really. Again, we knew this team was going to be bad. If anything, it just makes it even that much worse. But I'm just saying, again, this is now concerning for the future where, again, you recruited these guys to come on in. It didn't work out. You dismiss them from the team. Again, who in the hell's returning?
But here's the deal. The EK message resounded, again, resonated throughout that team. Okay, I'm not coming back. Okay, and then you start the rumor mill. Will he be a Cowboy next year? Will he not? But the bottom line is the season is now lost. You shut down Noah Reynolds because of the concussions, and again, that's the smart thing to do. So you're looking at a season right now, Nick. We just sat here in the 11 o'clock hour saying 0-8, 1-7, maybe 1-7. Right now, I think you'll agree with me. There's not a win left for the Cowboys this season.
No,
they
bounced out early in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Again, it's a wash this season. You focus on next season, hope and pray basically of, again, something changes and, again, for the better for the Cowboys. But right now, I just don't see it. So, again, that's a breaking news. Again, 3 dismissals, a part of the Cowboy basketball program. Again, at least statement by Jeff Linder. Again, thanks to the UW Athletic Department, again, sending out that email to me. We'll get away from Cowboy basketball because, again, it went from bad to even worse right now with that statement.
Well, worse is down in Denver with the latest few years of football season. Let's move now to hopefully the future gets better.
I want to get into hockey, but all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then you go into hockey.
Well, very quickly, because, again, we do not talk hockey, at least enough here on the program. Again, at least keep an eye on the Colorado Avalanche sitting in the 4th spot. 58 points right now, again, tied with the Minnesota Wild, where, again, the Avs getting healthy. They're still dealing with issues. I think the big issue right now for the Avalanche is goaltending. Goaltending is one, I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it is a big question mark for this Avs team who, again, trying to defend their Stanley Cup. Are they a Stanley Cup favorite as it stands right now? not really, especially just looking at some of the talented teams, especially within the Western Conference. Again, they're well behind, 10 points behind the Dallas Stars. Again, a few points behind the Winnipeg Jets. Again, tied with the Minnesota Wild right now. Look to the Pacific with Vegas, with Seattle, with Los Angeles. We'll toss even Edmonton in that conversation as well, too. They're going to compete in a very talented Western Conference. And right now, the future, at least as we look to the playoffs for the Avs, it doesn't seem all that hopeful compared to last season, again, with the unbelievable run. I don't think that Avs have at least enough juice left in the tank, or, again, that goaltending issue right now, especially on the defensive side. I don't see them repeating as Stanley Cup champs this season. It's going to take a lot, but I don't think that this team has all that makeup within them. Again, outside the Avs as well, too, do want to give an update on the standings as well, too, as we talk and we take a look at the Colorado Eagles just down the road at Loveland and the AHL. Right now, Eagles still sit pretty, at least impressive, in that third spot behind Coachella Valley and Calgary, the Wranglers. Right now for the Colorado Eagles, 57 points. Again, 44 games played so far in the season, 28, 27, 14 with 3 overtime losses for the Eagles. So, again, a talented team, again, with the Eagles and with the Avalanche. Again, good basis here, but neither team do I see them this season winning Calder Cup, Stanley Cup. Is it in their future? They'll compete. They'll get in the playoffs, but there's a lot more talented teams in both of those leagues right now that they have to contend with.
You just never know. That's all I can say about playoffs and when you get to the next level and how you're playing at that particular time. All right, can we now talk football? Sean Payton, a Denver Bronco head coach for the next 5 seasons. And it coincidentally works with Russell Wilson, who's under contract through 2028. So, again, with Payton coming in, a good offensive mind, I would venture to say that he'll try to woo some of his former staff to that was with him at New Orleans to come on into Denver. And again, this won't take too long, Nick, but to make an immediate impact, you don't have a lot to go for in draft.
As I say, there's not a whole lot to speak upon. Again, the Sean Payton situation where, again, he's the head coach, 5 years, $18 million a year, which, again, we knew the Broncos were going to shell out for him. Again, Broncos right now, even with Sean Payton, are they immediate winner right now? No. It's going to take some time. Sean Payton, yes, give him respect, again, all the time that he's able to do with the New Orleans Saints. Again, only brought him 1 title, though, and his time there with New Orleans, again, ran into the controversy of, again, targeting as well, too, that, again, bounced him out of the league.
Yeah, he got suspended.
I'm just saying, again, with Sean Payton, it's official. He's done. $18 million. Seems about right. 5 years. We'll see what he can do right now for the Denver Broncos, which, again, is only to be determined. For the Broncos, again, their main focus right now is the offseason. Who can they sign, especially with, again, both lines?
And didn't they compensate New Orleans as well, too?
Draft picks.
Yeah, so, again, you go to the April draft, not a hell of a lot for the Broncos to get excited about. You're going to have to spend more money.
I mean, hell, there's not a whole lot to get excited right now for if you are a Denver Broncos fan, because, again, this is one of the this is kind of the black couple of seasons for the past 7 years now, as we're approaching Super Bowl 50 or 57. Again, I do believe on this day again it was 7 years ago that the Broncos won that Super Bowl. Yep. But ever since, again, they have been irrelevant. They have been irrelevant since, again, that time, again, winning Super Bowl 50 against the Carolina Panthers. So, can Sean Payton lead them to that promised land? Especially in the AFC. It's going to take a lot. And again, Russell Wilson is not that guy. Again, is Russell Wilson in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow, who all compete in that AFC? No.
And don't forget to get Herbert in there as well either.
Yeah, again, I guess, with the Chargers.
So, again, I think Kansas City and the Chargers, you stamp them in.
Even Trevor Lawrence with Jacksonville, what he did.
You stamp those two guys in automatically that they're going to be playoff bound. Who knows what the Raiders are going to do? The Raiders might be in the same situation as the Broncos. Again, they might be afterthoughts. But again,
I think Raiders today as well, too, said, hey, teams, if you want to look at Derek Carr, go right ahead.
Yeah,
so,
make my day.
Again, right now, as it stands, the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, I think we'll get him back in the winning track. Next season, will they have more wins than they did this season? Possibly.
They'll be better offensively.
I think without a doubt. It's just more so of, can this team get back to a Super Bowl, win another Super Bowl? It's going to take a lot. They got to find a lot more talented players, including the quarterback position. I don't see Russell Wilson being that guy, especially in a heavy QB conference that is the AFC. He is, again, right now in my mind's eye, and again, you look at all the teams in the West, North, South, East, Russell Wilson, I don't even think is in the top 10.
Well, and here's a couple of names they'll throw out there. The 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo have basically said adios.
Yeah, it seems like again, relationship with him and Shanahan
but
really
is
deteriorated.
Garoppolo a starter?
For instance, again, if the Broncos were to sign him, is he a starter? No.
How about Derek Carr? Is he a starter?
Derek Carr, he's a starter in places. Again, where that would be at, I'm trying to rack through my mind right now. Again, Carolina, Atlanta, maybe, Tampa Bay. But again, as we're talking again, keeping the focus on the Denver Broncos, again, will they go after Jimmy G? Will they go after a Derek Carr? I don't think either of those would take over the starting role of Russell Wilson, especially just with the amount that they invested in the guy. I think plain and simple, that's just not going to be a reality. I think Russell Wilson is the guy as much as, again, I don't think he is. I don't think he can lead this team to the promised land without a doubt. But if they were to be aggressive and go after quarterback again, whether it is Jimmy G, whether it is, we'll get a Derek Carr, I don't think that either or for next season becomes that immediate starter for the Denver Broncos, but we'll see.
I'm a general manager in the NFL right now, and I'm looking at what Garoppolo's making with San Francisco. First, and again, I've said this before, say it again, he was paid way too much for way too little that he's done.
Hell, even Kirk Cousins got paid way too much.
Yeah, and again, too,
and Jimmy G has done way more than Kirk Cousins.
But here's the deal: right now, I'm not gonna offer this guy $26 million to come play for my franchise. Yeah. He's not worth it. And if you think he is, then I think you're nuts.
Again, 49ers a team right now to keep a huge eye on, especially regarding the quarterback situation. And we know, or at least it seems like indications are saying Jimmy G's out. Brock Purdy, again, right now diagnostics on him are saying that it's 9 to 12 months is his expected return. So, again, it got a little greater.
If he goes with the surgery.
Well, it seems like that's where he's leaning. And, again, it looks like he won't be ready until, again, next February as it stands, or at least that's kind of the latest with that estimation. So, again, Trey Lance, again, the final quarterback. Obviously, Josh Johnson, just send him down to the XFL. But, again, 49ers can
retire him.
Yeah, just go to the USFL or the XFL. Get the hell out of the NFL.
And matter of fact, what I have right here, same thing that Brock Purdy's going to have. He's going to have a nice little scar on his elbow.
Yeah, tough for the rookie, again, of what he was able to do this season for the 49ers. But, again, that's a team that, again, will they go after Derek Carr? Can they entertain?
No.
Again, it seems like Aaron Rodgers said, hey, I'm not going to the 49ers. So, again, Aaron Rodgers seems like he's out of the picture. Again, who knows? Again, we've said it a couple of weeks ago, especially post the NFC Championship game, that what the 49ers do in this offseason holds a hell of a lot of weight regarding the rest of the NFL, where, again, Niners have been aggressive. They want to win. They want to win now. They're willing to shell out that money in those long-term contracts. They need a quarterback. I think plain and simple, they need a quarterback. Because Trey Lance proved, again, even in the few short games that he was at, he's not good, or he's not ready right now. But
he's not durable.
But I'm just saying, again, it's something that for San Francisco, they hold a lot of heavy weight right now in the offseason of where they look, where they go, who they land, if they are to be aggressive, as, again, it shows that they will be.
Let me throw 4 names out there. Trent Williams. Will he retire? That's the first question. Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Bosa. I think the 40. Well, yeah, but those 3, and Brandon Ayuk. My point is, I think those 3 are definitely going to be re-inked. So once,
the indication of free agency for the 49ers seems like they're going to resign most,
and I think that's going to open that door for more to come to San Francisco. Now, where do you start plugging in players? I don't know. Trent Williams, to me, would be hard to replace. So I know the 49ers and John Lynch right now are kind of telling Trent, take your time. We'd love to have you come back. So don't know where that's going to go. But, again, do you go after a quarterback? Do you go after that second stringer or that third stringer? Don't know.
Yeah.
Again, too, Robbie Gould's aging as well. You might start looking at a kicker as well, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of question marks for a lot of teams here in the league coming up in the offseason. Obviously, we still have the Super Bowl upcoming where quickly to make a prediction on that one, Philadelphia, figure they should win.
I'm going Kansas City.
I figure Philly should win. You know, give me 35-27 Philadelphia. Again, I don't really care. I'll watch a little bit of the game, but again, with how sour the end of that NFC Championship game at least was for me, I'm not heavily invested.
Think about Cincinnati Bengal fans and how sour that was against Kansas City. Yeah. But Patrick Mahomes had that week to heal up. Yeah. So when you got a full 100% Patrick Mahomes, you got a dangerous.
You got two complete teams, but I think the advantage in this one will be offense. And again, who is the number one offense is, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think in the Dome there in Glendale.
Makes no difference.
Well, again, it just means that there's no weather factor or anything like that. But either way, I think Philadelphia, again, I think that offense just finds a way to gel, finds a way to get it done. Jalen Hurts obviously has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove people wrong. He's gotten him to the Super Bowl right now. Again, I don't really care, but again, to make that prediction as a talking head, Philly, yeah, sure. Go win another.
And I'm glad that you mentioned 62 points, 35-27. I think this is going to have a lot of fireworks.
I think it's going to be a very heavy offensive Super Bowl. Would it shock me if one team, whether it's Kansas City or Philly, blows out the other? Yeah, I think so, because both teams should match score for score. It could come down to the wire without a doubt. It would be very surprising. Again, you have about a 20-point victory. It wouldn't even surprise me if it was a two-touchdown victory for either or. I don't see that. I think this is going to be a competitive and a very high-score Super Bowl matchup between these two.
Yeah, and again, you want Philly, I'll take Kansas City. So obviously, the way I've been picking things lately, you might want to go with Nick's pick.
Philly's looking again for championship number 2, Kansas City 3. So. Good luck to the both of them. Again, don't care. It's pretty much NBA. It's hockey. It's baseball.
I'll watch the game, but
I'll watch a little bit.
Maybe grill up some steaks and call it good. All right, real quick here. Steve Wilkes going back to the 49ers.
Former Carolina
Panther head coach now moves in as the defensive coordinator, replacing DeMeco Ryans. And again, I want to mention this with DeMeco Ryans moving in as the head coach. I'm sorry. We've seen defensive coordinators just fail. I just don't see him. Right. Look at Saleh. It took Saleh at least 3 seasons.
Saleh was also too in a rough spot with the Jets. The Jets have just been a joke. And
where's Ryans at?
What do you mean?
Where did he sign on to? DeMeco Ryans.
Houston.
All right.
Yeah, with the Texans again, they're a complete trash fire.
They're a dump.
Yeah, again, will DeMeco immediately make the Texans into a qualifier? Again, year 1, year 2? No, that's something that's going to take some time. Same with Robert Saleh of what he's doing with the New York Jets. But we've seen, though, again, those former coordinators with the 49ers really step up in those head coaching roles where, again, it's brought kind of life and promise to these franchises. You look with Miami, as much as they kind of had a rough end to the season. New York the Jets are a lot better than they were years past with Robert Saleh. The Houston Texans, again, there's nowhere but up for that team where, again, nothing against at least Lovie Smith, but he was in a position doomed to fail, part of that franchise where, again, they had no one. Again, I was there week 1 to see them take on the Colts. I was there week 1 to see them take on the Colts in a tie. Both teams sucked, including the Texans. So for DeMeco, again, I think if anything for him right now, again, as a head coach of the Texans, you got Play-Doh to kind of mold and mesh in your way because it's a fresh ball right now. It's completely, it's not tampered with because it is a young team with some veteran talent, but it's something that for DeMeco, it's not going to win. He's not going to win now. He's not going to win in 2 years or 3 years. It might be a 4-year process for the Texans, and we'll see what they do in the draft and what they do offseason wise, but you got to feel confident that D'Amico will get him in the right direction.
He's got to plunk an offensive coordinator on an existing team.
Could it be for D'Amico again? Can he find himself in a similar situation of again a Vic Fangio or a Vance Joseph?
He's
Maybe
he's going to be like Mike Singletary. Again, you got a good defensive mind.
Mike Singletary, though, had weapons with the 49ers,
I know,
and again,
but
that just did not mesh well.
But I'm just saying, though, you look at a situation. He's got to find an OC, again, whether it's on an existing NFL team or he's going to have to go down to the college ranks. And right now, you look at the Texans offensively, they're about as big a train wreck as the Denver Broncos. So who's out there for him?
I think Texans barely outscored Broncos this season, if I remember correctly on the stats. But either way, yeah, the offense was really bad.
But you're
Defense
not
was really bad.
hearing names being bad. The only going
see.
back to
We'll
the
see.
names. I go back to Byron Leftwich, and I go back to
again.
Bieniemy.
Could the Texans, where again for D'Amico's sake as well too? Again, we talked Jimmy G. D'Amico's familiar with the guy. Could D'Amico go, hey, I like what you did in San Francisco. We have a familiar relationship.
Houston's got
Come
the
out
money.
here.
Who knows? Derek
Houston's
Carr,
got the cap. They got the money. They're not spending on anything else.
And again, I think they're depending on the draft as well too. So, between the Bears,
I don't see again
the
in
Bears
this draft.
and the Texans have good draft positions.
Yeah, again for the Texans, could they draft a quarterback here in the first round this season? Like I said, there's
a couple good ones that they
but
could
there's
go
not that superstar in the making of years past. That's why I wonder if the Texans could be that team to go and say, "Hey, Jimmy G, you'll be a starter here. D'Amico, I'm familiar with you. I could see that."
See, the problem with Jimmy G, and again, I haven't been a fan. I wasn't even a fan when he was in with the Patriots. The thing is, he is way past damaged goods. And if you get a full season out of Jimmy G,
if you're Houston, though, you're desperate. You don't care. You'll take whatever to get you out of the
go
basement.
after a Derek Carr. Derek Carr, after having the leg injury, has played, 3 seasons in a row now.
I'm just saying, again, it makes sense with Ryans of, again, being on staff with that 49ers team, familiar with Jimmy G, knows what his body of work is. Could he court him on over the Houston Texans? But, again, we'll see. This offseason, AFC, NFC, various divisions, various teams, is going to be extremely exciting, at least in my opinion. I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks. There's a lot of teams right now that are desperate for quarterbacks that right now we know Rodgers is available, Carr's available, that Jimmy G is available. Tom Brady obviously retired, so there goes that option. But, Lamar Jackson as well, too, out of Baltimore. It doesn't seem like he's going to return. There's 4 names right there that could be on the move, and who knows who else.
And in Tampa, they're going to be going after Lamar Jackson.
Maybe.
Oh, I think so. They would be foolish not to. All right, we are going to wrap things up here. But before we go, Nick, you might want to encourage the audience to join us here coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
All right. Friday coming up here in town at the Thunderdome Chinese, hosting Campbell County. Lady Campbells and Camels in town in Eastern Conference battle. 6 and 7:30. Girls up first, boys up second. We'll have those games here live this Friday. Again, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRay.com on the audio side. Video live streaming as we do on the 1480KRay YouTube channel. That's Friday's action, Class 4A East versus Campbell County here in town. Looking forward to that matchup. And then Saturday's action, it'll be 2:30 and 4. Again, 2:30 and 4 will be the action. It'll be the Battle of Laramie County, Class 2A, Burns and Pine Bluffs hosting these games. It will be the Lady Hornets and Hornets hosting the Bronx and Lady Bronx. Again, 2:30 and 4, again, on those various various ways to tune in. Again, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRay.com, and 1480KRay's YouTube channel. Go over there, subscribe, give us a like on our videos. We appreciate that. That certainly helps us out. Again, it's completely free on that social media site as well. So, again, back-to-back games coming up this weekend, 4A, 2A, as we now approach very closely. Again, we're 3 weekends away right now from regional tournament for postseason play.
And do want to say congratulations going out, too. Matter of fact, talked to his father earlier this morning, Jerry Schlabs, the athletic director at Cheyenne East, his son, Garrett, getting the full ride to Chadron State. So becoming an Eagle here, football side. So congratulations to Garrett Schlabs, and moving on to his next venture, which would be college football. Hopefully he will have a chance to show those skills that he did at Cheyenne East on the gridiron at the next level. All right, we are going to wrap things up. Don't forget to join us at 4 o'clock again. If you missed the program today, we'll start things off with Cody Tucker in our first hour, so do join us from 4 until 6 as we repeat the Pro Show. So for Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti. Have a great afternoon. You are listening to 1480.